Welcome everyone to a new chess analysis video where we're going to be taking a look at another one of Morphy's games. Paul Morphy, for those of you that don't know. This is round 2 of the Grand American Chess Congress here in the United States. This was played on October 17th back in 1857, long before the rest of us were born. And he is playing Alexander Meek. Okay. Let's take a look. Morphy is with the black pieces, so we should actually switch the board. So Meek is white, and we get an e4, e5 system. So there's different ways that you can go, but this one ends up being a Scotch Gambit with d4. E takes d4, and Meek plays c3. A very interesting move. So Meek is trying to gain a lot of initiative by getting his pieces developed very quickly. And this was a lot of the kind of theory that happened back then. I don't think you see these moves too often anymore. I believe there's still some lines here that would be decent to play, but I don't think that black usually takes that anymore. So maybe they do. It's tough to say. All right, so we get c3 offering up another pawn, and Morphy happily takes it. Knight takes c3 and bishop c5, and we get this nice opening sequence here. Both white and black are trying to finish development and get castled. And we'll see that shortly. And then there's going to be a number of things that happen very quickly here. Bishop c4, developing, getting ready for castling. d6. Morphy wants to be able to get his light squared bishop out. And h3. And a lot of people and a lot of coaches will recommend that this is a poor move. It is met with a question mark in my database. However, it does serve a purpose. It does keep people out of this square. I think we have to just do, is it like this? There we go. The g4 square. So you cannot develop your bishop to g4. So it does limit the amount of scope the bishop might have. So that does serve a purpose, but it's usually not necessary. So it probably would have been better just to castle and then allow bishop g4. And then we get a number of different sequences here. White would probably continue with bishop g5 and then a sequence sort of like this. Still trying to get out of the potential pin that might occur, but black can still play knight to d5, and it's an equal position, or it's an unclear position rather, and anything could happen. Now, black could say, well, I'm not going to play bishop g4 yet. I'm going to play knight f6, bishop g5, h6, kicking the bishop back, bishop h4, g5, and kicking the bishop around this way with the intention of possibly castling queenside or kingside, and it's still unclear. Another variation might have been queen b3, queen d7, bishop takes f7, queen takes f7, queen takes b7, king d7 protecting the knight, queen takes a8, bishop takes f3, getting this nice compensation against the king because now the king is open, and queen takes f3, and it's marked as an equal position. It's very interesting though. It's very difficult to play. There's still chances for either side. So these are longer variations that are marked in the database, but Meek opted for h3, stopping all of that. Morphy played bishop e6, challenging the light squared bishop. He could have also opted for knight f6, bishop g5, and h6, and then kind of going a route that we've already seen. But he didn't do that. He decided to play bishop e6, and Meek decided not to take, which I think probably would have been a better way to go. And we would have seen a variation like this. It's very long, and I'm sure this is computer generated. And I'm not going to go over all of it because it's tough to understand. But at this line, which is really odd and weird stuff, it does say advantage to white. Not by a lot, but it's kind of... I don't know that they would actually get this entire sequence, but they might get something like this. These moves aren't too hard to find, but these next ones coming up with this type of plan might be after this. So I think this is fairly intuitive to find, but the next steps maybe not so much. Meek instead decided to play bishop to b5, and this is the rest of the game. The rest of the game finishes in 31 moves, but there's no more variations in the book, or the database. This is just kind of covered here. And I could probably check the... Yeah. Actually, after move 15, let's take a look. Let's get to move 15. Oh, that's not a move. Knight g5, castles, queen h5. He's really kind of going after Morphy. But he has some really good defense, kicking the knight back with h6, knight g6 to stop, add another piece to defend the king. Knight c to e5. Now we're getting a bunch of pieces over to the king's side, and white is really not going to be able to break through. Knight takes e5, knight takes e5. He took off an attacker and a defender, and black still has two pieces defending. G5 and queen to d4. And, okay, after move 15. Bishop e3 and queen to b4. And at this point, the book mentions white must surely have recognized by this time that it was black who had an attack. This is the position after the 15th move. And it's to note, I don't think that Meek should have taken off this piece. I think he should have tried to come up with some sort of other option. Maybe considering trying to trade off this pair of knights, or this knight instead. Might have been a better way to go instead of a central knight. It's tough to say. But, okay. So, we're at move 15, and now we get to see Morphy's attack. Let's take a look if there's anything else in the book. Okay, nothing. So there's no more notes in the book, and there's no more notes in my database for this particular game. So we're just going to kind of go through it at our own pace here. Bishop takes c5, queen takes b2. That's really interesting. Giving up a piece and possibly an exchange for an attack. Now look what Morphy does here. Queen takes b2, giving up the piece, and he has this attack here where if he does get a chance to take this rook, he's going to pick up both rooks. So what an excellent move. So he did find this. Bishop takes f8, giving up the exchange. Rook takes f8, and we get this position that is a little unbalanced. So there's two minor pieces for a rook against, two minor pieces, a rook and a queen against two rooks, a minor piece, and a queen. But Morphy has two extra pawns for compensation and a potential attack. White only has the queen defending his king. So let's see how he kind of broke through. Rook a to c1, queen to b2, bishop to c4, challenging the bishop, knight to f4, attacking the queen. Queen has to drop back, And now look at all of white's pieces are on the back rank here. Look at that. And Morphy has a pretty nice attack coming. This is coming here, and this queen is in the mix as well. Knight takes h3 with check. King has to move. Another check. King has to move again. So he's picked up a pawn for n2 tempo. Queen to b6, kind of just getting on a better diagonal. Also to possibly get the bishop out here and maybe bring his queen out this way. Ooh, interesting. G takes h6, bishop takes c4, h7, and the king takes. Another option would have been just to prolong and go to king to h8, because that pawn, this pawn here, this h7 pawn could be used as a defender. White has no way to break through at this point, so that could be an interesting way to go. But Morphy decided to take it, which is obviously not bad, because there's no way to really get a check or any types of attacking on the king right now. Queen to g4, trying to get there. Queen to h6 check. The king moves. Bishop takes f1, getting the exchange back, and now Morphy's up a clear piece. Rook to d8, a4, rook to d6. You can probably see the threat here. If you can't, pause the video, try to figure it out. What is the threat? Leave a comment down below and let me know if you were able to figure out the threat here. Let's pretend for a minute that Meek had played a5 by some miracle. The move would be rook to g6, and it would pin the queen to the king, picking up the queen, and you can pretty much resign at that point. Now, he played f3, which is also not that good of a move, and it actually did happen. Rook to g6, king to f2, and white has resigned at this point. This game took an hour and a half, it looks like, to play, and it's a little interesting because they measured games in amount of time, not necessarily with clocks, because chess clocks had not yet been invented. So they just played and kept a timer. So if you enjoyed that game, please do like and subscribe. It does help me out. Share it with all of your friends. It is the single best way to help support my channel, and I do appreciate all of you for watching. If you like this sort of content, please check out the next videos, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.